bankruptcy,
a stunning fall.
Major restructuring. Debt is piling up.
In 2023, we witnessed the unraveling of a challenging chapter for banks and retail giants in the United States. Big retailers face difficulties like bankruptcies and changing consumer habits, impacting household names such as Bed Bath & Beyond and Rite. At the same time, major banks, including Wells Fargo and JP Morgan Chase, closed hundreds of branches, signaling a massive shift in the banking landscape. These closures aren't just numbers. They translate to lost jobs, disrupted communities, and a ripple effect on the nation's economy. How did we get here? And what does it mean for the average American? The closings of retail stores skyrocketed in 2023, witnessing an astonishing 80% surge compared to the previous year. This shift in the retail landscape wasn't merely a blip on the economic radar, but an extreme impact felt by industry giants and local businesses. The reasons behind this surge in closures are as diverse as the stores affected. First and foremost, bankruptcies were looming over the retail sector, forcing established names to shut their doors. Bed Bath & Beyond, an emblematic home goods retailer, faced the brunt of financial challenges, leading to a series of closures. Rite, a prominent pharmacy chain, also grappled with falling sales and the weight of opioid-related lawsuits, culminating in a substantial increase in closures, surpassing the figures from the previous year. Falling sales, another significant factor, highlighted the struggles faced by retailers to adapt to changing consumer behaviors. As the digital era redefined shopping habits, traditional brick-and-mortar stores found themselves on the losing end, with consumers increasingly favoring the convenience of online platforms. Now, how did major retail player Foot Locker navigate the stormy seas of economic challenges? Under the leadership of CEO Mary Dillon, Foot Locker took a proactive stance, recognizing the need for strategic adjustments in response to the evolving retail industry. Foot Locker announced its decision to shutter 275 of its namesake locations by 2026 in a move that caught the industry's attention. This strategic decision wasn't made in haste, but rather as a deliberate response to the prevailing economic currents. Dillon's leadership emphasized the necessity of adapting to changing consumer behaviors, a key driver behind the surge in online shopping. The implications of Foot Locker's decision echo beyond its individual stores. It speaks to the broader shifts in the retail industry, where adapting to the digital era is not just a choice, but a survival imperative. The move to close namesake locations acknowledges the increasing preference for online shopping, which has reshaped the retail landscape. Meanwhile, how are major banks responding to the shifting tides of the financial sector? A notable trend has emerged: the closure of traditional branches, signaling an extreme change in how banks operate. Wells Fargo, a banking behemoth, has closed 258 branches in the past 12 months alone. JP Morgan Chase followed suit, shutting down 159 branches, while Bank of America recorded nearly 100 closures. These numbers are statistical entries and indicators of a deliberate shift in the banking industry's approach. The reasons behind this trend are multifaceted. Soft profits have become a pressing concern for banks, prompting them to reassess the traditional brick-and-mortar model. Aggressive cost-cutting strategies have become imperative as financial institutions seek to streamline their operations in the face of economic challenges. It's not merely about reducing numbers on a balance sheet, it's a strategic move to adapt to a changing financial landscape. Banks are recognizing the diminishing necessity for a large physical footprint. As revenue pressures persist, the closure of branches is more than a response to a challenging economic climate, but a proactive measure to ensure sustainability in an era where digital banking and online financial services are on the ascent. So, if retail stores and banks are closing, what are the repercussions for the communities? The consequences of bank branch closures ripple through neighborhoods, giving rise to what is now known as banking deserts, areas where access to essential banking services becomes limited, if not entirely absent. In these deserts, residents face challenges in conducting basic financial transactions, such as depositing or withdrawing money, The impact is not just an inconvenience, but a tangible barrier that can disproportionately affect vulnerable communities. The closure of branches doesn't just limit access to financial services, it restricts opportunities for economic growth within these localities. One glaring consequence is the potential loss of jobs. As banks trim their physical presence, it isn't just about closing doors, it's about shutting down employment opportunities. The individuals who worked in these branches, often members of the communities affected, face unemployment. These job losses are more than mere statistics. They represent livelihoods disrupted and economic challenges magnified. Moreover, the economic challenges extend beyond job losses. Small businesses in these communities may struggle without local banking support. Access to credit, essential for entrepreneurs and homeowners alike, becomes more intangible. Now, just imagine the ripples of major job cuts at industry titans like Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and Bank of America. Crazy, right? These financial powerhouses have become major contributors to the significant downsizing observed in the global banking industry, with at least 61,905 jobs cut in 2023. Wells Fargo, in particular, took the lead in this downsizing trend, announcing a reduction of 12,000 positions in 2023, with a staggering $186 million spent on severance costs in the third quarter alone. Citigroup, not far behind, cut 5,000 jobs, while Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan Chase collectively streamlined their workforce by at least 30,000 during the same period. The implications of these job cuts extend beyond the walls of corporate offices. They carry the potential to impact the broader economy and lending standards. As thousands lose their jobs, consumer spending power weakens, posing challenges to businesses reliant on consumer demand. Now, have you ever wondered how the Federal Reserve's recent data on a decline in commercial and industrial loans could cast a shadow over businesses and economic growth? The numbers show a 0.2% drop in the volume of these loans in September, marking the sixth consecutive month of decline. This reduction in lending is more than just a statistical blip. It carries potential consequences that reverberate through the economy. Businesses, often reliant on loans for expansion, investment, and day-to-day operations, may find themselves facing restricted access to credit. The implications stretch beyond individual businesses. Reduced lending can contribute to a broader economic slowdown. As businesses face challenges in securing funds, the engine of economic growth may start to sputter. These concerns are particularly pronounced in the context of the Federal Reserve's efforts to curb inflation. While the intention is to maintain economic stability, the potential consequences of reduced lending could be a double-edged sword. On one side, there's the need to control inflation, but on the other, there's the risk of inadvertently stifling economic activity. But how can we overlook the undeniable challenges that citizens are grappling with? The statistics are sobering, reflecting not just numbers on a chart, but the lived experiences of ordinary Americans crossing through turbulent times. Yet in the face of these challenges, there's a remarkable resilience in the American spirit. It's a spirit that refuses to be broken, finds strength in adversity, and navigates through economic uncertainties with determination. It's evident in the stories of individuals who, despite facing job losses and financial setbacks, persevere and find ways to adapt. However, resilience alone is not enough. There's an urgent need for tangible improvements in the lives of ordinary Americans to fortify the foundations of a stronger recovery. The statistics may show the magnitude of the challenges, but they also point to areas where targeted interventions can make a real difference. Addressing job creation, enhancing social safety nets, or implementing policies that mitigate the impact of rising living costs. The future outlook hinges on the collective efforts to usher in recovery and stability. It's a call to action for policymakers, businesses, and communities to come together, recognizing that a robust recovery is not just a numerical goal, but a collective responsibility. The path forward involves addressing the root causes of economic challenges, ensuring equitable opportunities for all, and fostering an environment where the American spirit of resilience can flourish. So, how can we ensure a future where economic recovery is not just a concept, but a lived reality for every American?